Today we will be focusing on grammar, reviewing key skills important for GCSE English language, and the topic is word classes. The learning objectives for today's lesson is to explore some key word classes, in particular nouns and adjectives, and to understand how nouns and adjectives create meaning in text. What is grammar? I'd like you to pause the video now for a minute and jot down what comes to your mind. Don't worry if you're not sure what the answer is. I just want you to see what comes to your mind when you hear the word grammar. Grammar is the organisation of words into sentences. It's how we communicate to get messages across in the clearest and effective way possible so that everyone understands you. This is referred to as clarity and coherence, which is important to achieving at least a 4 in your exams. So if I were to read something you've written, if I'm unable to understand what you're saying, I'm confused, that means it lacks clarity. If I can't follow your thoughts, your ideas and how they progress in the text, and everything seems to be a bit jumbled, that means it lacks coherence. So clarity and coherence are important skills you need to be able to develop in order to achieve a 4 in your exams. Understanding how grammar works will improve your writing and also help you to analyse texts more effectively. Can you list the 8 parts of speech? Again, I would like you to pause the video, jot down what comes to your mind, and don't worry if you're not sure. We'll find out in a second if you're correct. 8 parts of speech refers to noun, verbs, adjectives, conjunctions, adverbs, prepositions, pronouns, and interjections. I'd like you to jot these down on a piece of paper and find out the definitions of these so you can keep a record of them in your notebook, and so you'll be able to refer back to them throughout the course when you're analysing texts, and also for your revision. We'll be going through the definitions now in the next slide. Nouns. Nouns name things, and there are 4 different kinds of nouns. We have proper nouns, common nouns, collective nouns, and abstract nouns. We use common nouns to talk about everyday objects, places, people, things, and animals. These nouns often follow the, a, or an. These are what we call articles or determiners. If you can put one of these in front of a noun, you'll know it's a noun. For example, the car, a shop. We know then that car and shop are actually nouns. The is used for specific nouns, for example, shut the window. We know which window the speaker is referring to. We use a for general nouns, for example, a dog was hit by a car. This lets us know that we're not sure whose dog it was, because if it was the dog was hit by a car, we know which dog is being referred to. Proper nouns are the names we give to a specific person, animal, place, or thing, and it always starts with a capital letter For example, we have the name Emma and Stephen. We have the city, Birmingham, the month, September, and the name of a dog, Buster. Collective nouns describe a group of people or things. These words are all collective nouns. So we have army, bunch, team, pack, swarm. So we use these in sentences. We say an army of soldiers, a bunch of flowers, a team of players, a pack of hounds, a swarm of bees. Abstract nouns describe things that we cannot see, hear, smell, or taste. So we are not able to know these things through the five senses. So, for example, concepts such as honesty, boredom, freedom, power, and wisdom are abstract nouns. You're going to write a common noun in each gap to complete these sentences. I'll start you off. The girl was late for the, could say, show. So we know then that girl and show are common nouns. So we'd like you to pause the video, copy these sentences down and fill the blank spaces in with the appropriate common noun. Now you're going to give the common nouns below a specific name and turn them into proper nouns, remembering to use a capital letter at the start of the name. For example, day. That word is a common noun because we have 7 days of the week, so we have more than one. That makes it common. But when we give it a specific name, Monday, it becomes a proper noun because it's a specific day of the week and we only have one Monday. So I would like you to do the same. Copy this down onto a piece of paper or you can type it into a Word document, and I'd like you to write a proper noun for the common nouns. Using precise nouns and noun phrases helps to give the reader a clearer picture of what is being described, and it makes your writing more interesting, and this is what writers do. Take the example, some girls were caught shoplifting in a shop. It's very vague, not very interesting, and we don't know who the girls were and which shop they were shoplifting in. We could change this to 5 girls were caught shoplifting in Primark. Now we have more of an idea of what happened and where and who. So we have 5 girls and we have the shop Primark. It makes it more interesting for us and we have more detail. You can even go further and say 5 young girls or 5 tall girls. Well, you get the idea. Now you're going to replace the nouns in these sentences with more precise choices. The first one has been done for you. So we have an animal was killed by a car. Again, this is very vague. And we can be more specific. We could say a Yorkshire Terrier, that's a type of dog, or was killed by a Range Rover. And now we know what type of car, and it gives us an idea about the person who was driving the car. Maybe they were wealthy because they were driving a Range Rover. You're going to change the words in bold and write a replacement that gives us more of a clearer picture, or rather a clearer picture about what's happening in the sentence. We're now moving on to adjectives. Adjectives are words that tell you more about a noun. They help you to describe or add detail. Adjectives can go before or after a noun. Let's look at this example. The runner was exhausted when he finished the marathon run. The word exhausted tells us more about how the runner was feeling, and the word marathon tells us more about the type of run that he did. Read the description and underline the adjectives that help you to describe the scene. The meandering river flowed past derelict buildings perched along the overgrown riverbank. Vermin scrambled around decaying litter left behind by fly tippers. Broken glass covered fallen rubble from a building that used to be luxury apartments for affluent bankers working in Canary Wharf. You're going to underline the adjectives, so words that you think pop out to you that describe nouns. After you've done that, you're going to answer this question. What kind of imagery has been created by using these adjectives? Is it positive or negative? So you're going to zoom in on the particular words that you've underlined and think about what comes to your mind, what picture is being created in your mind's eye. What can you see? Does it look nice or doesn't it look nice? Is it positive or negative? Jot your answers down on a piece of paper. The next task is you're going to look up the adjectives you had underlined in a thesaurus and replace them with words with appropriate synonym. So a synonym is a word that has a similar meaning. For example, the word beautiful is similar to the word pretty. Adjectives are added to noun phrases to describe and add important detail to your writing. Choose adjectives carefully. An adjective should add more information about the nouns, give a clearer picture, or add detail to the overall effect of your writing. This is an important skill to remember when analysing how writers use language to create effects. Writers choose words very carefully to create a vivid picture in the reader's mind. Your next task is you're going to write your own advert. You're going to practice using adjectives to make your writing more interesting. Write a description of someone famous using the adjectives below or some of your own. Write an adjective in the spaces below to make this description more effective. The sky was, and it was, and a few flakes of snow were beginning to fall. Suddenly, out of the gloom, a figure appeared, hurrying down the road. The figure was, and it was wearing a. Once you've done that, I want you to think about the image you created. Was it a dark, sinister image? Was it a light, happy, joyful image, for example? And then your last task is you're going to expand these noun phrases using adjectives before and after the noun. Review. Write the answers on a piece of paper. What is a noun? What is an adjective? How do writers use them in their writing? Your homework is to write down the definitions of the 8 parts of speech on a flashcard. You can use Quizlet, or you can make your own flashcards if you haven't done so already. Remember to pause this video as you go along to complete the tasks, and then to get in contact with me, your teacher, if you have any questions.